I'm Zak Ciotti for Boris Effects, and today I want to show you the simplest way I know how to make the glitch effect all natively within After Effects, and then how to make it even faster with better controls using Boris Effects. Within our tidy After Effects project, let's open up some footage. The first thing you want to do is go over to the Effects and Presets. Let's type in a Displacement Map. The Displacement Map effect can tell your footage how to interact with a grayscale map. So let's go ahead and make that map right now. Let's create a new solid by pressing Ctrl Y. We'll call this the map. There's a lot of built-in plugins to create some noise here, but let's pick out the fractal noise effect. This does look pretty interesting, but let's make it look a little bit more pixelated by switching the noise type to block. Once it's here, let's change the contrast to 100 × 2. Then let's go to the transform settings and turn off uniform scaling, and let's stretch this out, like so. Another good touch would be to just turn up the sub influence a lot. We can also animate it. So let's start the stopwatch on evolution. Go to the end of that footage and multiply it by 20. Now we've got that static. Switch off the layer, and on our displacement map, let's tell it to look at the map that we created. The next thing you want to do is change the source to effects and mask. This way we're starting to see how it's affecting the footage. Let's tell it to look at the luminance. And then let's wrap the pixels around so those edges get cleaned up a little bit. We can really influence this by increasing the displacement using these parameters. The next step would be going back to our map, Alt-click the brightness stopwatch to create an expression. Type in a classic wiggle expression, and let's set these parameters to an infrequent 2, and a very high value of 500, and play back. Now we have an intermittent glitch that looks a lot more naturally occurring. The next thing we can do is add some chromatic aberration. This is something that typically happens when you look through prism or glass, different kinds of lenses and cameras, that sort of thing. Fortunately, After Effects comes with its own chromatic aberration plugin. We can add this one to the dancer herself. And now that looks like a bad TV. So the next thing we want to do is solo her by rotoscoping her shape. And we can do this really quick using the Roto Brush or Mocha Pro's Object Brush. But that's not the focus of this tutorial. We really aren't worried about this being perfect. This is good enough. Now let's duplicate this layer and delete the mask from the bottom layer. Let's rename the bottom layer to background. This way, we have two separate layers. When you switch on the effects now, you'll see how it's interacting with her. But to make sure she fits here, let's double tap M and go to Mask Expansion. Once you do this, you'll see that the chromatic aberrations are outlining that area. All we need to do is increase the feather of that mask and play back. If you want to do this faster, easier, have more fun, and get more controls to play around with it, let's jump into the Boris Effects Continuum glitch plugins. In the Effects and Presets plugin, type Video Glitch. Under BCC Stylized, pick BCC plus Video Glitch, and let's watch through. Instantly, we're getting a more randomized, with more variety, interesting look than we could have ever come up with in the amount of time we just spent. What's really amazing is that it comes with an effects editor, so let's open this up. You guessed it, each one of these are presets. Let's go ahead and click around a little bit. Options heavy with chromatic aberration and all kinds of jumpiness. And check out this one. They have everything from the super subtle to the highly complicated. When you select the combined options, you'll get some really crazy stuff. Every piece of each one of these presets is fully controllable. And don't forget to pick out your favorites. And you can play it back within the effects editor. Just hit apply. So imagine trying to make all that with me sitting here for 3 hours. When you fiddle around with these parameters, you're going to find a lot of fun effects. There we go. Now that saved us a bunch of time. And just for some extra kicks, let's go ahead and add something to this background right here. Type in Prism into the Effects and Presets. Select BCC plus Prism and drop it onto the background. This plugin also has an effects editor. Check out these trippy options. Continuum Prism is the ultimate solution for chromatic aberration and RGB split. The presets are really only the beginning. Experimenting with each individual controls makes all the difference. Oh, I'm liking this one. Let's roll with that. In just a few minutes, you've learned how to do this all within After Effects and use Boris effects to speed up the entire workflow. You can try it out. Go get a free trial at boriseffects.com. You can find tutorials there and lots of other inspiration. I'm Zak Ciotti for Boris Effects. Catch you next time.